We do assume that there may have been a hole previously, prior to this, what you're looking at, and we're making an assumption that we have to be strict about. So why did we just say before that if a wolf takes the intestines and runs off with it, brings it back, there's holes? We don't say that it had holes in it while it was alive and the animal is treif. We don't. We say that everything is good. We start from right now. The holes must have been made now. So why do, when we find a bird pecking at a fig, do we say that the hole was there before, it was made by a snake, and we assume that could be it was made by a snake, and this is poisonous, and you shouldn't eat it. So Amalei, this must be Rav Huna saying back, Mika Medamis, Isura Lesakanta, are you comparing prohibitions to danger? Sakana Shaini, you have to be more strict by danger. Something dangerous is more strict than the prohibitions. This is where the term comes from. Chamira sakanta miyisura. We're going to see it again at the end of the Gemara. That sakana is more strict than the laws. By the laws of kashrus, we don't assume. We say that it's permissible. Amalei Rava. So Rava says to him. Rava must be saying to Rav Huna. He says, "Ma'ishna safek sakanta lechumra, safek isur nami lechumra." Why do we have this difference?
One's a spiritual danger, one's a physical danger.
So he's asking that we should. Why by sakana are you more strict than by isur? Isur daraisa, you should be strict as well. Amalei Abaya v'leishani bein isur lesakanta. You don't know that there's you don't know examples of differences. Let me tell you. Ve'ilu safik tomer b'shus harabim sveikeitar. Ve'ilu safik mayim megulam asurim. Okay, listen to this. When you have a doubt if something became impure, so we make a difference between where the doubt took place. Did the doubt take place in a public area or in a private area? Now, the way to understand this better is if you get the source of it, which Rav is going to tell him back. But the source of this is if a woman is secluded with a man, we say that if she was warned by her husband, do not be secluded with this man, and she is, so, and there's a witness or two witnesses, so then she's considered tameh. It's a term that she's prohibited now to her husband, and she has to go to drink the sota water in the temple. Now, she needs to be secluded with the man. That means it needs to be in a private area. In a public area, there's no problem. If she's talking to him in the street, that's not a problem. So, from that source, we now take it over to other tumah. If there's a doubt if this sheretz, which is a dead rodent or some sort of a creature that touches something, where did the doubt take place? Was it in a private area or was it in a public area? If it's in a public area, we say that it's tar. If it's in a private area, we say that it's tameh.
How do they learn it from Saita? There's a Gzer shower or something?
There's two, we're going to see over here, there's two ways.
Okay.
So, he says, look, Safek Tumah B'Shus Harabim, if there's a doubt if something is tameh and it's in a public area, we say it's tar. But let me this is Abaya telling Rava. But if you have water that's left open, and there's a concern that maybe a snake came from it, I don't care if it's in Rishus Harabim or Rishus HaYachid, we say that you can't drink from that water because that. So you see that there's a difference between something that's dangerous and something that's a ritual law, an isser. Amalei says to him, no, Hasam Hilchasa Gemirila Misaita. That is a special limud from Saita that we're going to be lenient in Rishus Harabim. Ma Saita b'Rishus HaYachid, Aftuma b'Rishus HaYachid. So we have to learn that that's a special limud. That's an exception. Normally, we would be strict by if there's a doubt. Here, there's a special leniency we learned from Saita. This is Rava's response back. We'll go further. I'll get back to this. Masav Rav Simi. Rav Simi has a similar question. Sheretz b'fi cholda, v'cholda malachas al gabi kikar shel truma. Okay, there's a cholda's a weasel, and it's holding a sheretz in its mouth. You can just imagine this. I've seen the cats. They grab the mouth. You see it's coming out on both ends, like the tail, so it's got it in its mouth, and it's walking over loaves of truma. Now there's a question over here. Did the sheretz, the weasel was on it, but did the sheretz touch the truma?
If the weasel touches it, it's okay.
No, yeah, because it's alive. So we're questioning if it came in contact, if the sheretz in the mouth came in contact with the loaf. So safek naga, safek lei naga, svekei tar. We say that it's tar. We don't know if it touched, and we assume that it's tahar from before, and as it has a status, a chazaka that it's tar. Ve'ilu safek mayim megulim. But when it comes to waters that are left open, and it could be that a snake or something with venom drank from it, that we say it's asur. So we see that we're more strict by sakana. So what's Rava saying? That no, that it should be the same laws. It says Hasamnami Hasagamir Lami Saita. That also we learned from Saita. Now here it's a little different, because this was even in a Rosh Hashanah, in a private domain. We still say that it's tahar, but we learned from a Saita that Ma Saita Davar Sheish Bedas Lishol. When do I say that a Saita is tamei in Rosh Hashanah? That's specifically because there's people with knowledge in that situation that actually know the truth. When do I say that something is tamei in Rosh Hashanah? That's only if it's yesh beidas lishol, if there's a human knowledge there that knows the truth. Over here, there is no human knowledge involved. All there is a weasel with a dead sheretz in its mouth and some loaves of bread. So that's all we have. That's all we have here, and therefore we're not going to say that it's tamei. Now, there's very difficult problems, very difficult questions with this Gemara, because the questions are funny. He's asking from Safek Tumah B'Rishus HaYachid, Safek Tumah B'Rishus HaRabim. Why doesn't he say the opposite? Safek Tumah B'Rishus HaYachid. You see that we're strict. He's using all these funny examples. You see that we're strict. Look, anytime we have a Safek Daraisa, we have to be machmer. So you see, it's the same thing. We see Safek Daraisa is l'chumra. We have Safek Tumah B'Rishus HaYachid where you have to be machmer. He brings from Safek Tumah. He's asking like the opposite. The Achrayim learn this Gemara that the machlekes Abaya Rava or Abaya Rav Simi and Rava is if Safek Daraisa l'chumra. Whenever we have a doubt in a biblical law, you have to be strict about it. Who says you have to be strict? Do you have to be strict rabbinically, or do you have to be strict because the Torah says you have to be strict? Does the Torah only speak about definite things? And the rabbis said, well, if it's that you have to be strict because it could be a violation of the Torah law. Or if I ever have a doubt, do I have to be strict biblically as well? Is that a biblical law? That's a machlekes the Rambam and the Rashba. Whenever you have a doubt, why you need to be strict about that doubt. Is it biblical law or is it rabbinic law that tells you need to be strict about? And they say that could be the machlekes here. You have to work it out exactly with the Havamina, the Makshan, the questioner and the answer. Amar Rav Ashi.
But the difference over here is because you have a chazaka. The chazaka tells you that it's kosher.
Right. Well, that's what we're saying, that there's a chazaka, and we're trying to compare it to sakanta.
Right.
And
but your case, if Savi Dorais Lachum, there's no chazaka.
No, even if there is a chazaka, you have two pieces of meat. One of them.
There's no chazaka. I don't know if it's straight or if it's chazer or if it's kosher.
Yeah, okay. You're right. Here there is a chazaka in the kashrus. You're right.
Go home. He's done. He's done for the day. Let's go home.
Amar Rav Ashi.
Take the rest of the day off.
Rav Ashi says, Tashima, come and listen. Tzleichish sheinicham megula. You have a flask that's left opened. Uba matzah mechusa. And you find that it's covered. so it's Tameya. We're talking about this flask was filled with water, special water that's going to be used for the paraduma. So it's Tameya. Not only is it not eligible to be used for the paraduma, but it's also not considered pure for anything else either, because we assume that someone came in, because I assume that someone that was impure came and covered it. It doesn't just get covered on its own as long as you leave it. Let's say you left it covered, and then you find it uncovered. This could happen naturally. Well, not exactly. Something had to do. If a weasel or a snake could have drank from it, then it's psula. Or if dew came down that night, then it's puzzle. What's the problem over here with the weasel or a snake? So, if an animal drinks from the water of a paradum, it's usually not a problem. But there are exceptions. And the exception is a weasel, because when it takes it into its mouth, and then it lets it back out. It drinks it. It spits some of it back out into the. So we have a problem here. Two possible problems, according to Rashi, is that either it's considered work was done with this water, and the water needs to be no work was done with it. The second problem is that it went into a container before. It's supposed to go from the spring into this container to the ashes of the paraduma. Here it went into another container, the mouth of the weasel. Rabbi Gamliel says that a snake does the same thing. So this would be a problem of that the water would be puzzle, but with the fact that we see that the water is puzzle, but we don't say that it's tameh. We just say that the water is no good for a paraduma. And Rabbi Shua ben Levi explains, Rabbi Shua ben Levi, ma tam, what's the reason for this? Why come we don't think that possibly maybe an impure person came and uncovered it? So he says, these weasels or whatever, these shratzim, they're only gonna uncover. They never clean up. They only mess up. So, so now there's another brackets over here. Should we read it? Rochelle takes it out. Let's skip it. The brackets. It's possibly not part of the Gemara. It says v'ilu safik mayim megulim asurim. However, when it comes to if it's considered left open, in other words, we're not concerned. This is what we're going to do. We're going to say that it could be that a person uncovered it, and that if it's a person that uncovered it, could be his tar, it could be his tameh. It's a 50-50 chance. We also have a possibility that maybe it was a creature that uncovered it. So now we have a majority possibility that it was uncovered and it's pure, because 50% tar, 50% tameh, plus a creature, a live creature, would be pure as well. So we have the majority that we can assume that it's pure. However, safek mayim megulim is asurim. If it's left open, and also we have the possibility that maybe it wasn't something that was venomous drank from it, or something that wasn't venomous drank from it. We don't say that let's assume that it's healthy to drink. We don't say that. We say that it's asur. So we see that we're being more strict by something that's dangerous, by something that could be sakana. Shma mina. From this we see chamir sakanta misur shma mina. From here we see that you have to be more strict about things that are health matters than about ritual laws.
Can we give a 30-second executive summary?
So we started off with statements from Rav Yehuda, what a Talmid Chacham needs to know. We said also about what a sheichet needs to know. We also said what a sheichet needs to do when he's finished the shechita. What happens if he doesn't examine if he's finished the shechita? And we said that with the assumptions that we're going to make, if he doesn't examine that, we're going to say that either it's machlekes, either it's not permissible to eat, or it's also tameh. And then from that took us into do we assume things are worse than they are, and as we see by danger, we always assume the worst. We don't always assume the worst by kashas.